Okay, so this is going to be the territory line for my Warning East game. Because technology is failing me, I'm going to have to choose the old-fashioned way and use photo viewer. So I apologise for the occasional loadings as I press these keys. So, start with Barbarossa, front lines, and we got a hell of a long way to go. But we make fantastic gains in the first couple of weeks. It starts to slow down again about week 3, but we're still encircling and destroying huge numbers of Russians. Push towards Moscow is going really well, as is Leningrad. South is a bit slower, but that is about to open up for quite a bit. As you can see, we're chopping off that huge bulge in the marshes there, which disappears pretty much over turn, and this is where the defence in the south just crumbles, and I advance a huge amount in one turn. This is turn 11. Again, a bit slower, but at this point there's no real Russians in the south to stop me, although concentration in the north means that although I've almost cut off Leningrad, I haven't quite. Here Leningrad is now cut off, but being supplied by ports, and it's a slow grind up towards the ports. I enter the Crimea in the south, and the first mud hits. See all my units go red, no supply, and at this point I'm just sorting out my lines, straightening them up before the snow. I decide not to attack when the snow hits. I still think this is a good idea. This is a really harsh winter, really bad for the Germans. You see, not much change for the first few weeks as I continue. Then the blizzard hits, and the Russians slowly start to grind me back. The Warsaw offensive begins for them, and I lose a large amount of ground. Snow means their advance stops a little, and then mud holds it. This is when I rail all my panzer units down south, as you can see, just inside that little bulge, ready for the full blow and the massive assault on Stalingrad. We have a break in the mud, and I begin the advance, although for this few turns it's mud on, mud off. But every time the mud breaks, I advance a good amount, capture a good number of Russian troops, and continue my advance. I break south, avoiding the worst concentration of Russians, meet up with the guys coming out of the Crimea. At this point Sevastopol falls, Leningrad has already fallen. That one hex I needed to allow me to eliminate the city means I've now got 2 of the 4 major cities in Russia, and there is nobody in the south to stop me, so the next few turns are just massive advances. There's also a few advances in the north where I found weak holes and punch forward, but mainly it's I reach the Volga and then start pushing down towards Baku. I mean, Baku at this point was a complete pipe dream. I kept thinking, oh, I'll find some enemy defences somewhere, but not really. I just managed to keep moving forward. In the north, 2-pronged pincer attack manages to cut off quite a few units. I miss enveloping about 500,000 men by 1 hex, and they can all get railed out. But still, I managed to capture about 600,000 men, which is never a bad start. Stalingrad has also fallen. As you can see, well, it will fall. I've just cut troops off. Yeah, and now I start pushing north. Mud hits again. This is where it starts causing the Russians start causing a few problems. I cut off one massive bulge there, and the slow grind down towards Baku begins. Snow hits, and I can speed up a little bit. You can see I keep pushing north. At this point I keep thinking the Russians are going to start pounding me back and I'm going to have to stop, but it never really seems to materialise, so I keep going. Baku's pretty much in sight and will fall. Now I turn my attention towards Moscow. I see that I've got the ability to pinch it off with a attack from the north and attack from the south, which I then begin. I kind of stop it a little here because I'm a bit worried that I haven't got the troops in place to fully do it. But I've seen that a few recon reports show me they're really weak, and I do actually attack, and fairly rapidly I trap what turns out to be a 1.1 million men in Moscow. That pocket is eliminated in 3 weeks, and the mud hits. At this point the game's pretty much in the bag, but I have to spend a few mud turns shuttling troops from Moscow into the area. First break in snow. As you can see, the Russians are doing some fitful attacks in the south there. They are costing me ground, but it's more like I'm having to retreat a little bit when they break through. I mean, I get some units trapped there, but they're rescued, a few more trapped. But in the north, this is where I can smash a hole in there and make good advances. I've targeted all the major cities in the area. I also managed to stabilise my southern line, which for a little while was looking like it was going to force me to retreat towards the Volga. Again, every time there's no mud I advance a bit. But the Russians are broken here. I've taken another major city, and that's pretty much it. Yep, so that was my war. Condensed down into roughly 6.5 minutes. Thanks for watching the LP, and I hope you enjoyed it.